We begin with Decision 2021 coverage. It is election night in Wisconsin. Polls closed at 8. Voters deciding on a mix of school board seats, judges, and one statewide race, that for superintendent of public instruction. This race was never close. The AP called it about 30 minutes ago. Pecatonica School Superintendent Jill Underly defeating former Brown Deer Superintendent Deb Kerr. Underly spoke just a few minutes ago.
Votes have been counted, and Wisconsinites across the state have elected me to be our next state superintendent of public instruction. I'm honored and humbled by the trust voters have placed in me today.
It's the first election we've had in Wisconsin since the contentious November presidential election, and our second spring vote during a pandemic. Stephanie Haynes has been checking in on the mechanics of this day, how those have gone. She's live at the Milwaukee County Courthouse with that. Steph.
Steve, officials say they didn't hear of any issues in this election. Right now, this is the public viewing of those final vote tallies coming in real time here in Milwaukee County. We're still waiting on two municipalities. It's Milwaukee and Wauwatosa. Here's some footage from the tallies being tallied up right after the polls closed. This is where election workers were tallying the votes up until minutes ago. Elections Director Julietta Henry said there was a machine-related issue call at 9:30, but they resolved it very quickly. Now, if you remember, last April in Milwaukee, we saw long lines of voters, some forced to wait hours to cast their ballots. That race was a presidential primary and a state Supreme Court race. The city had only 5 polling places open due to virus concerns, but today it was all 172. Henry said more than 82,000 absentee ballots were requested countywide and 44,000 were returned at the time when polls closed. She says that's typical for this type of election. She also expects turnout for this election to be similar to what it was in 2017.
If you look at just historical data, it was 17% in 2017, which is an election equivalent to this election. So with the same candidates or the same contests that were running at that time. So hopefully we'll see something between 17 and 28%, I'm sure.
She said all of the results should be in around 10 p.m. Again, we're still waiting on Wauwatosa and the city of Milwaukee. We will let you know as soon as we get those tallies in. Live in Milwaukee, Stephanie Haynes, TMJ4 News. Steve.
Stephanie, thank you. Voters across several counties casting their ballots in a special election, this to fill the State Senate District 13 that used to be held by Scott Fitzgerald, who is now off to the U.S. Congress. This one has not been called yet. State Rep John Jagler running for the state Senate with a little bit of a lead here, 51-44. This race not as close as it would appear, as there is a third-party candidate who's pulling about 5 to 6% of the vote right now. You can find some other election results scrolling at the bottom of your screen and online. It's at tmj4.com/vote.